Wendy Osefo may be one of the most misunderstood housewives in all the history of the franchises. Not because she doesn't know who she is, not because she lacks confidence, but because her story has yet to be told in the depth that it deserves. Wendy has the degrees, she has the career, she has the family, and she has the platform. Yet, season after season, we've watched her over explain herself. We've watched her try to fit into rooms that she's already, quite honestly, earned the right to be in. Okay? This is not going to be a shady story. This is not going to be a story about picking sides. This is going to be a story about who Wendy Osefo is and why exactly she's so misunderstood. My name is Tanya. This is Sweet Tea. Welcome to the Sweet. If you would, go ahead and like this video and subscribe to this channel as my intro plays, and we'll get right into it. Beginning of times, beauty salons and barbershops have had a special place in the hearts of the industry professionals and the patrons alike. We can all remember trips to the shop, special moments made, conversations had, and lessons learned. From politics to pop culture, the latest gossip, love and relationships, and social movements. It's all talked about. Lifelong friendships are created, networks are built, ideas are shared, and politicians are made or broken. Our power is great. Our reach is wide. This is the place where we all shine, from the beginning to the end of times. Let's keep the conversation alive. Join me in my suite from your suite, and let's talk about the tea. Y'all love that intro. I really do. Like, I really hope that that intro encompasses everything that I want this channel to be and this community to be. I want it to grow, and I want us to talk about things on a deeper level, like we do in the hair salon. We talk a lot of BS when we talk about these shows. We talk about the mess. We talk about the shade. But if you have a hairstylist like me, then I know we're going a little bit deeper than that. And if you don't have a hairstylist like me, get yourself one so we can talk about the real issues and the deeper issues, like why poor Miss Wendy Osefo is so misunderstood, okay? So this is a photo from Wendy from first season of Real Housewives of Potomac. We all knew Wendy stepped on the scene with something rare. She had credentials, honey. She had degrees on top of degrees on top of degrees. 4 degrees to be exact. She was a political commentator, a professor, and an immigrant who built her life through academic excellence. But instead of being received as accomplished, Wendy was quickly labeled arrogant, defensive, rehearsed. She was accused of trying too hard. Y'all know that. Y'all know that's the truth. And that reaction wasn't accidental, okay? Wendy doesn't move like someone who expects grace. She doesn't move like someone who just expects to fit in. Wendy moves like someone who has to earn the right to fit in, even though Wendy has accomplished all that she has accomplished. Wendy was not born in America. Wendy was not born in the United States. She came here as a young child, raised in a Nigerian immigrant household, where achievement wasn't just encouraged. Achievement was an expectation. Wendy has talked about that on the show, about how she was expected to do certain things. When she wanted to quit her job as a professor, it was a big deal because her mother expected certain things of her. So again, her being successful or her achieving certain things wasn't just encouraged for her, it was expected for her. In many immigrant families, the lesson is clear. Excellence is safety, okay? Education becomes protection. Prestige becomes proof of that education, proof of that excellence. And success becomes currency, valuable. Your success becomes valuable. And that's why she repeated over and over and over that she had the 4 degrees. She wanted them to acknowledge her success because for her, that was valuable. It's not just for opportunity, but it's about belonging. Wendy didn't grow up believing she deserved space. She grew up believing she had to earn it. We all know, I know as a child in my school, we had some children that were immigrants, whether they were Nigerian or they were, from another part of the world. We had children that immigrated there that didn't necessarily speak the language and that didn't necessarily fit in, and not all the kids were nice to them, you know? And they could have been just like you and I, but we know how that is. We've all been kids before. So imagine Wendy coming here as a child, not speaking English, from Nigeria, entering school, being, thin, I'm sure, big eyed. Y'all see the picture, you know? Y'all see the picture. So y'all can imagine how she was treated as a child. And now we're about to get even deeper. Y'all ready for this? Because everybody ain't going to be ready for what I'm about to show and for what I'm about to say. But I think it's the conversation that really needs to be had. And I think that Wendy deserves her story to be told in a different level of depth. Okay? Let's talk about the colorism. Wendy has shared that her mother bleaches her skin. Y'all see the before and after pictures right there. We've seen her mother transform right before our eyes. And she shared that her mother bleaches her skin. This detail is not minor, y'all. It's a big deal. And it's fundamental. It's foundational to who Wendy is. It tells us that Wendy's earliest lessons about value were tied to lightness, to skin color, to presentation, to proximity, to acceptability. Colorism didn't meet Wendy on the screens of Bravo television or in Potomac, Maryland. Colorism met Wendy at home. Colorism looked Wendy in the face. If her mother does not want to look like her before pictures, which look more like her daughter, and would rather look like her after pictures, what does that tell her daughter? And what has that always told her daughter? When her daughter has seen women who she loves and respects, do things to change their skin color from looking like hers. What does that tell her? So again, colorism didn't meet Wendy on the screens of Bravo or in the streets of Potomac, Maryland. Colorism met Wendy at her front door. Colorism met Wendy in her crib. Okay? So when Wendy later enters spaces where beauty and femininity and hierarchy matter, she is already hyper aware of how she will be viewed. She's already hyper aware of it. She's instinctively, not theoretically, aware of it because she grew up in a household where the person who birthed her, who should have been instilling all of the confidence in her, is subconsciously telling her that her skin is undesirable or her skin is something she should want to change. That's a big deal. So y'all think about that and then think about this as an AKA. Wendy as an AKA. I repeat it. Wendy as an AKA. Wendy is not legacy. Wendy did not grow up in a family where AKA was prominent, I could assume. So Wendy had to come here, go through college, and as she's matriculating through college, she's seeking out sororities, or sororities are seeking her out. So Wendy and Giselle share a Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority in common. But their relationship to it is not the same. For Giselle, AKA is a cultural inheritance. For Wendy, AKA is a strategy. For many immigrant Black women, elite Black American institutions represent legitimacy, access, protection, fluency in how power operates. And Wendy didn't choose AKA because it was the warmest space to her or people who look like her. She chose it because it was the most powerful one. And she even included on one of the episodes last season that if her daughter pledged the same sorority as her, that she would inherit more in her trust fund. But we all know now that that trust fund might not actually exist. But just the fact that you would have your daughter pledge the same sorority where you share a screen with a sorority sister who treats you like garbage for the first part of your time on this show. This is the first season where they are getting along somewhat. Okay? So this is where the Wendy and Giselle dynamic becomes clearer. And people say that Wendy is kissing Giselle's butt, but let me explain it. Giselle represents effortless acceptance, beauty-based authority. Giselle don't bring nothing else but a pretty face. That's it. She's shady. She's not nice. She's not funny. She can't dance. I don't get it. I mean, she brings a pretty face, and that's it. So imagine Wendy, who felt like her 4 degrees is what she had to offer, and she did all this work, and she's still not accepted, and yet Giselle is the face of Potomac, and all she is literally is a face. She brings no substance, in my opinion. She doesn't bring much but a pretty face. So to Wendy, Giselle represents effortless acceptance and beauty-based authority, social legitimacy without explanation. She don't have to explain shit, and she feel like she don't have to explain shit. She been brought up like she don't have to explain shit, and she's not gonna explain shit. How many times has Giselle said, "I don't care"? And she gets away with it. She spreads lies about people, and she gets away with it. She's not held accountable for the things that she says or the things that she does. So again, she represents social legitimacy without explanation. So Wendy doesn't interact with Giselle as a peer. She interacts with Giselle as the barometer, as the where she needs to get to. She represents and she interacts with Giselle as if Giselle in the hierarchy, Giselle was at the top. Okay, like they are still pledging the sorority, and Giselle is pledging her. That's how she interacts with Giselle. And to me personally, it grosses me out. But again, I'm trying to understand and I'm trying to help y'all understand. We all trying to understand Miss Wendy Osefo. Okay. And so thought about this a lot. And just the fact that, like I said, that she pledged that sorority and then she gets on the show with her sorority sister who treats her like crap. And then she puts it in her will that if her daughter pledges that same sorority, she'll get more money in her trust fund. And this is money that we all know now that you really don't have. Like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Let's talk about it. So that is why Wendy pre-clears her decisions. She over-explains her intentions to Giselle. We always say that she's always over-explaining herself to Giselle. She softens critiques. Okay, and she accepts reconciliation quickly with Giselle. She got over the shit real quick, moved on. And it's not because she really wants Giselle's friendship, but it's because she still associates Giselle with permission. When Wendy, and this was telling to me when they were at they did the scene when they went to the car dealership and they were looking at the G-Wagons, and Wendy told Giselle that she was going to get a G-Wagon like hers, but it was going to be a different color. And she wanted to warn her because she didn't want to be like Stacy and be copying. Like she was throwing Stacy under the bus. It was real confusing to me. But when Wendy tells Giselle in advance that she plans to buy the same car, that isn't transparency. Like she's not telling her that to be transparent. It's actually permission seeking. She's trying to feel Giselle out. She's trying to feel the temperature and see what Giselle's going to say about it. And that's why she kind of threw Stacy under the bus while she did it. So when she contrasts herself with Stacy, and then she immediately says after that, but I like Stacy, and I feel like Stacy's being ganged up on. What we're seeing there is an internal conflict with Wendy in real time. We're seeing it play out in real time on our screens. So it's like Wendy is trying to align with the upward power that she sees in Giselle, where she's still identifying with the underdog. That tension isn't hypocrisy. It's not that she's a hypocrite. It's actually anxiety that we're seeing. It's like she's anxious, you know? And Wendy has it all. It's crazy. The most revealing moment in Wendy's story isn't about Giselle at all, though. It's the scene where Wendy talks to her sister about her father, a man she hasn't seen in over 20 years. Wendy says that she believed that if her father saw her and saw how successful she was, that he would want a relationship with her. And when that didn't happen, something inside her quietly broke her. Because that belief that success earns love has guided Wendy her entire life. That's why she bragged about the 4 degrees. Because imagine coming here, not knowing English, not speaking English, not knowing anyone, being a little awkward looking, and all you could do was be the smart kid. And you figure that if I could just be smart enough, if I could just be successful enough, they would accept me. And that moment right there for me, that moment explains the overperforming, the sensitivity to rejection, the struggle to disengage from people who withdraw approval from her. She should have told Giselle where to go a long time ago, but instead she's still grasping and ready to accept Giselle's apology and move on and throw Stacy under the bus, but then, put the bus in reverse, Like it's confusing, but it's all because it's an anxiety inside of her where she's still trying to belong, but then yes, she's conflicted because her real self knows that Giselle ain't shit and she shouldn't be throwing her real friend and Stacy under the bus for Giselle. So, it's like I don't know. It's just sad. So Wendy did everything right. She achieved, she assimilated, she aligned herself with elite institutions, and still she has to explain herself. And that's the tragedy. It's not insecurity, but the realization. It's the realization that success doesn't guarantee acceptance. Success doesn't guarantee that people will like you. And for Wendy, that's been a hard lesson to learn. When allegations surfaced about Wendy and her husband Eddie and questions around their finances, many people reacted with disbelief. How could someone like Wendy and Eddie, educated, successful, accomplished, find themselves in such a predicament like that? But when we slow down and look at Wendy's full story, where she came from, what she was taught, and the pressure that she's lived under, the question begins to shift. Because when a person has spent a lifetime equating success with safety and providing with worth, keep in mind she provides for her mother. Her mother brags about her providing for her. Like it's really not okay. And image, she thinks of image as she equates image with belonging, you know. The pressure to maintain that image can become a lot. It can become overwhelming emotionally, psychologically, and financially. So this isn't about declaring guilt or innocence. It's about understanding how long-term pressure to succeed, to provide, to present stability can shape behavior in ways that aren't always healthy. Wendy's story isn't about perfection. It's not, or at least it shouldn't be. It's about what happens when you realize that you were given, that what you were given to survive no longer guarantees safety, belonging, and unfortunately, love. And that realization, especially for women raised to achieve, to assimilate, and to excel, can be just as painful as it is freeing. So it's going to hurt her to realize. That's why she was crying, saying that about her dad. But now that she's realized it, she can be free. And now that the you know now that we know who she is and what they've done to try to keep up, she can stop doing it. She can free herself from that because she got herself in a lot of trouble to try to fit in with people and to try to assimilate. And guess what? Those same people are laughing and making jokes about it now. So if she didn't learn nothing else, Wendy's journey should remind us all that success can open doors, but it can't force people to choose us. And sometimes the hardest work isn't becoming impressive. It's learning that you already were enough. If this perspective and this story and this commentary resonates with you and you'd like to see more of it, please subscribe to my channel, like the video, and let's build this community. Again, my name is Tanya. I would love to know your thoughts in the comments. And this is Sweet Tea. I hope to see you guys all again next time. Until then, let's get them off. Until then, peace out, beautiful people.